Harvard, Yale, it's just a title.
AI is affecting that with students now and really have no idea what you're doing.
And so when things are changing, that's the time when we need people to be thinking creatively and critically about how to solve these new problems.
한국은 출신 학교를 굉장히 중요시 여기는 사회입니다. 그렇다면 글로벌 비즈니스의 중심인 뉴욕 시민들은 미국의 학벌주의를 어떻게 바라보고 있을까요?
I think that, even maybe 10 years ago, an Ivy League degree meant a lot more and actually did a lot more towards getting you a degree. I think just having the name on your resume was enough to get your foot in the door, especially with students using AI more and degrees being more difficult way to judge, like who's actually competent at a job and capable of completing a job. I think that the name of an Ivy League school doesn't go far enough anymore. I think you have to have substantial work to back that up.
I would say that it may be a factor. It is not the only factor. So going to an Ivy League university can certainly be a benefit, but there are many other factors that will affect a person's success or non-success. So it's just one of many different variables.
Going to an Ivy League does give you you're on a higher pedestal. I don't think it guarantees you anything though. Harvard, Yale, it's just a title. Because you know what certain terms mean doesn't mean you excel at what you do. It means, but it doesn't mean it. Things have changed now,
Not at all. It's more about a lot of other aspects. There are other personal skills, there are people skills, communication skills. Education, of course, is always needed. If you have a very positive resume and credentials and certification and experience, you would be very positively.
Yes. Because people think you go to one university versus the other, so that maybe you're not as gifted or whatever the reason would be.
I think there's a lot of opportunities in New York to make money and make a career for yourself without going to formal school. But I worked at a bar for a while that was on the more upscale side. I could definitely say in some of the different tax brackets, I would say there's definitely an expectation of where you went to school, and the name on your resume means a lot more. And I've even seen firsthand people really only pursuing other people romantically or trying to form friendships or connections with people that they think have a certain status.
No, I think all the Ivy Leagues are not worth it anymore. I think education is not what it was. It's not like it was in the 90s. Unless you're not a doctor, a lawyer, an attorney, you don't really need to go to school. AI, coding, all this is free resources online.
Personally, no. I'm in a grad program through the public school system in New York City, and I considered Columbia as well, but tens of thousands of dollars for a 9-month program. I've been getting the same internships and the same opportunities. If I'm gonna go that much more into debt, I'm just not actually setting myself up for a better future. For me, I didn't think it was worth it.
That's putting such a financial strain somewhere that is not going to cost so much and still get you the career that you're looking for. I don't think it's worth it. I got my associate's degree. It's a community college here in the city, but here I am. I've been working for the same company for over 30 years without an Ivy League degree.
I've done hiring and I've done interviews. It's just a positive thing. If I had two individuals, and one went to an Ivy League, one went to a non-Ivy League, but the non-Ivy League person had a much better interview. I'm going to choose the person without the Ivy League degree.
If the person coming out of a school that's not an Ivy League has a greater skill set than the one from the Ivy League, well, I'm going to hire the one not from the Ivy League. Kind of simple, right?
I worked in the Gothamist and WNYC newsroom, and I think for them, definitely not. For journalism, it goes that way a lot, where it really is more about the clips that you have and how many published articles you have. Being able to show that you have the skills that you need to do the job is a lot more important than what's on your actual resume. And I know a lot of people at my school who have really, really long resumes with a lot of things that would be impressive on paper or in theory, that have a little bit more trouble than people with less stacked resumes, just because those people are able to put themselves out there and really showcase their skills, even if it doesn't translate to what's actually on their transcripts.
It will come down to other things like the soft skills, how they speak and how they address themselves and how they polish.
So we've been helpful to you?
I think so, yes. And colleagues and all, it kind of opens up the door to meeting other people and opportunities elsewhere to advance your career, definitely.
I think so, and I do keep in touch with my alumni, and it may not result in a direct specific job or getting into another position, but just the fact that you're communicating and in contact with your alumni helps you understand what other people might be experiencing. So you're sort of staying up to date as to what's going on in the marketplace. You might be leading to reaching out to someone in your alumni network that then may connect you to someone else.
No. I build my own network. You can network anywhere. You know, every day you build network.
Or diminished?
I definitely think that I'm concerned for the kind of abilities of students coming out of college now. I mean, AI was introduced like my second to last year of undergrad, but I think that I noticed very clearly, even in my last couple years of undergrad, that some of my classmates, their writing and reading abilities were just not where they should have been. And I can only imagine how AI is affecting that with students now and really have no idea what you're doing. So I think we'll start to see the real effects of that in the next couple of years as we have more graduates who had AI for all of their years in college.
I would have to say AI is impacting everything. There's so many unknowns right now, and everyone is trying to navigate this new world we're entering. And so when things are changing, that's the time when we need people to be thinking creatively and critically about how to solve these new problems. In some ways, it might be where university degree is even more critical. And without that degree, who's going to do it?
I don't think it's going to take away the value of getting a degree. Everybody looks for qualifications in a job, and you have to have an education, especially when you want to move up along and become a director level or even a supervisor. You have to have a college degree.
I guess in some aspects I'm not a fan of AI, but that is the world we're living in now. It's important for the day to be knowledgeable, and it is a concern of how far the AI is going to go and diminish some of the other industries.